friends, Whitney Magnuson here, and I'm super excited to be joining you for the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at Home Christmas in July event. I'm here with Unity Stamp Company, and I just wanted to go ahead, pop on, say hello before I go down to Project Cam and show you guys a little bit more about Unity stamps and share with you some fun techniques for holiday crafting. All right, let's get started. So today I'm going to be using two of my all-time favorite holiday stamp sets from Unity Stamp Company. This first one is called A Joyous Season, and it is just some really awesome tree silhouettes there, a deer, and just tons of really great holiday sentiments that you're going to be reaching for over and over again, and I especially love the snowflakes. And this next one is called Cheerful Prancing, and this one is just a classic too. I love how easy it is to create with those solid deer silhouettes, and these sentiments are just so great, just ones that I always reach for my cards and tags. So hopefully that you like them as much as I do. Let's go ahead and see them in action. So for this first project, we're going to be making an A2 card. I have a white A2 card base, some red glitter stock, and a craft sheet of cardstock that I already ran through my die cutting machine to get that stitch detail. And we're going to be using a combination of the stamp set. So we're just going to feature some really simple stamping techniques. I'm going to be using my stamping block and these snowflakes to kind of create a snowflake background. So here you can get a really good peek at the detail that we're able to capture with our red rubber stamps. Your impression with stamping is just going to catch every little bit of detail in that stamp, and it's just so easy to get a nice crisp impression using Unity stamps. So I am just doing some simple stamping here. I am using a pigment ink here, and it is Gina K Pigment White. Then we're going to go ahead and grab this solid deer silhouette from Cheerful Prancing. It is honestly one of my favorite stamps in the whole stamp set, and you will see why here in a second. So for this one, since it is a solid image, I do like to use my Misty, and it's just because with the Misty, you're able to stamp down several times and just get that impression super duper dark. And really, really great for embossing when you can get it really dark and inky. So I am going in here, I'm just going to ink it up one more time and get it really super dark because we are going to be adding some embossing here, and this ink is actually really awesome for embossing. You can see I don't have to move really quick when I'm using a white pigment ink or that black VersaFine Clair, and it's because this ink you can emboss for up to 5 minutes after stamping, and so it's just really great for doing projects like this. I want to emboss it all at once, save some time, especially when making holiday cards. You probably are making a lot of cards, so you want them to be able to go fairly quickly and not have a whole ton of steps. So here I'm going to be covering the entire panel, everything we stamped, with some clear embossing powder. And I am using my Wow Clear embossing powder. And then I'm just going to heat that up with my heat tool, and as soon as that ink is starting to pop up and get glossy, it is good to go. Then we're going to grab some Gina K Craft ink. And I love doing tone-on-tone stamping, and so this craft ink really kind of gives a vintage vibe when you stamp the snowflakes on there. And I just love that look, especially for Christmas, kind of an old-timey vintage feel. And then just to keep with our vintage theme, I am going to take that same ink, which is craft, and my little picket fence blending tool, and I'm just going to be blending the craft ink just around the edges. And then I'm going to be matting this on red glitter stock. I think it just really makes it pop. It makes it feel so holiday-esque. And then of course we'll mat this on our white card base here. So kind of some finishing touches for this card. I know I've been saying that these are going to be mail-friendly holiday cards, and they won't require extra postage. So usually when you use Nuvo drops, it's not going to affect the postage. It's still going to hold up really well in the mail. And I love this little effect that just the one little Nuvo drop does. And that is the color Red Berry. It's a Nuvo Crystal drop. And then one of my favorite things to do with winter cards is add some splatters. It's kind of like snow splatters or a snowstorm. So you could use a white acrylic paint. I happen to be using Distress Spray Stain today, and I'm just going to be watering that down a little bit and then grabbing my paintbrush and flicking that over the top for just some really, really fine splatters. So there is the finished look with that one. Card 1, super easy to recreate and mail friendly. So this next card here, we're going to be using the Snowflakes from A Joyous Season and a sentiment from Cheerful Prancing. So this is going to be an A2 card as well. I just went ahead, I grabbed some blue cardstock for our matting that's the same size as my A2, and then I ran this little white panel through my die cutting machine with a scallop stitch die. I'm kind of going non-traditional colors for this one. I think that's kind of fun to mix it up sometimes, especially if you're making tons of Christmas cards. It's kind of fun to pull out those different inks and use all of your supplies. So I just chose 3 inks in the same kind of color family. So we're going to be using Gina K Designs inks, and they are the colors Sea Glass, Blue Lagoon, and Turquoise Sea. So I'm just starting out and I'm going to be stamping each of the 3 snowflakes in one color. So we're starting with Sea Glass, and I'm just stamping them kind of randomly. I want it to look almost like a snowstorm or a blizzard, and just going in with that sea glass. Now I'm going to grab my next ink color, and this is Turquoise Sea. It's a little bit darker, and I'm just going to start by overlapping the snowflakes on each other here. So while I'm stamping away here, I just wanted to tell you guys that we have an awesome show special for you. It's going to be 60% off all regularly priced holiday stamp sets, including the sets that I'm using right now. So I'm just repeating that same process here. I'm grabbing each of the designs, and then we're going to move on to that third and final color, and we're just going to kind of fill in the voids here. There's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just having fun doing some simple stamping here, and I just love showing how easy it is to create with our stamps and how detailed they really are. There really is no comparison to these red rubber stamps. They are just so crisp, so clean, and so easy to use. And what's also great is you can use so many different mediums with red rubber stamps as well. They're not going to hurt your stamps, and these are stamps that are going to last you a lifetime. So here I am just finishing up this blizzardy background with that third color, and I just love the teals and blue for the holiday season, just something different. It's kind of fun. And I'm going to be grabbing Blue Lagoon and stamping our sentiment on there. This is one of my favorite sentiments from these sentiment kits just because it's so basic, just a classic Merry Christmas, something that you can always use for your cards, for your tags. This is going to be one that you're going to like a lot. And then I really like to kind of keep with a vintage feel for Christmas cards, and so I'm going to be taking and kind of roughing up the edges. You can do this with the scissors as well, but I happen to have this little distress tool that we've had in our collection for a lifetime. So I'm just going to be roughing up the edges, and this is also a great way to kind of hide if you can't cut very straight. So a lot of times if I'm cutting sentiments and it's kind of hard to cut it straight, I will use this trick all the time, and it makes it look perfect because it's kind of rough around the edges. So we are going to just go ahead and assemble this. This also is a really, really great tape. If you're looking for a great tape that is going to hold your cards together through the mail through all sorts of temperatures over time. This is it. This is the ThermoWeb XL tape roller. It is in our shop. I highly recommend it. You don't want to be sending a card to somebody and they open it up and the layers are coming apart. You want your cards to stay together and look nice when the recipient gets them. So this is just a white organza ribbon here, and I love organza ribbon. I think this looks really good with snow cards, just a really pretty kind of soft touch. And one of my favorite things to do is just kind of knot it. That way you're not kind of fussing with that bow, and I think the knot still looks really pretty. And then I know we're going to focus on male-friendly cards, but I am a foam tape lover, and I needed to pop up that sentiment. You certainly don't have to, but I just love doing things like that. So I popped that up. And now I'm grabbing my Folk Art Extreme Glitter Paint. So this paint is awesome and one of my go-tos for holiday cards and adding sparkle. It is a clear acrylic paint and it has just a slight shimmery glitter in it. So I just watered that down and I'm going to be adding some splatters over the top. So when it dries, it's just going to be a clear kind of shimmer everywhere that glitter hit. So here's a peek at both of those cards, just really super easy. I love the way that both of them turned out. They're going to hold up in the mail really well, and I know that your recipient is going to be super happy getting a card like this. So I wanted to show you that you can also use these awesome sets to create gift tags. So I usually do this every single year. I wrap my gifts in brown paper packaging and then I make these tags, and usually whenever somebody gets a gift, they're always like, oh my gosh, this tag is so cute. And honestly, they take me like a minute to make, and just another way that you can use that stamp set and get the most bang for your buck. And so these trees are a go-to of mine. I just stamped those in Evergreen Gina K Designs ink. And then I'm going to be grabbing a sentiment here. And this just says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'm going to be using just my go-to black ink for sentiments, and that is VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. And we are just going to stamp that down. Like, you guys, this is such an easy way to make your gifts look super fancy. Like, you totally spent tons of time wrapping them up and creating all these hand-stamped tags, when really it takes a minute, and they're really fun to make. So this is just a white pigment ink, and I'm going in with second generation, third generation, fourth generation stamping. I'm just going to keep stamping until the ink is gone. That's what's really great about pigment ink, and the ink really holds up well on these rubber stamps too, where you're able to do techniques like this and get a different look from just one stamp. So I always love just grabbing some washi tape to dress up my tags. So this is just some washi that I had in my collection. And I wanted to just kind of pull in some traditional colors here. So we have like a red plaid. And then just to kind of tie it together with the same theme, I'm going to be grabbing this green and kind of layering that over the top. And then I like to write a little message on the back, so I just went ahead and cut off the tails of that. So now we're going to be moving on to creating some tags with this awesome paper pack. This is called Rustic Winter Wishes. And I'm just grabbing a metal die to create my tags, but you can totally cut them out yourself with a scissors. And then I'm going to back them on some red glitter cardstock and just kind of trim them up. So already these are looking really awesome. I wouldn't have to do anything else to them, but I do like to add a little sentiment, so I'm going to be grabbing my white pigment ink and we're going to stamp Merry Christmas on them, and then we're going to end up embossing with white embossing powder over the top to just get that sentiment to really pop. So here's a close-up peek at those tags. I'm loving how easy these are to put together and how much fun they are. They're really going to dress up your gifts. You can do so much with these stamp sets. I really hope that you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today and seeing some of my favorite holiday stamp sets, and a show special today just for you for hanging out with me. You get 60% off holiday stamps. So all of our regularly priced holiday stamps right now, if you go over to our website, which is www.unitystampco.com, go ahead and add those holiday stamps to your cart, and at checkout, use the code HOMEEXPO60. So HOMEEXPO60 is the code, and you will get 60% off all of your holiday stamps, including these 2 sets that I used today. And I'm also going to have a category up at the top of our website where you can go ahead and take a peek at all the supplies that I used today during this video, so you can grab those as well and get your holiday craft on. All right, thank you so much.